Welcome to another episode of Unraveling Success. I am excited to talk to you today about this topic that I've really seen evolve for myself, but also it was a reoccurring theme with the guests that I have had on the podcast over the last 2 years is your definition of success. So I'll speak for myself, and this is reflective of every single guest that has been on the podcast when I ask them their definition of success. And it was always the very first question that I asked to open up the podcast. And I let everybody know before we recorded and a few days before so that they would have time because I wanted them to just out of the gate explain, hey, what's your personal definition of success? And without fail, the collective experience is this. When you first start out in business and in you know, a lot of goals have to do with money. A lot of goals have to do with things. And maybe you want to live somewhere, you want a certain type of home, maybe you want a dream vehicle, maybe you want a convertible. It has to do with stuff. And I've learned over the last, I started my book of business in 2010, and then I started Aspire Insurance Group in 2014. So I would say when you first start out, yeah, that's most likely what it is. You see someone with a really nice vehicle, you see somebody drive into a really beautiful home, or you see their pictures on social and maybe you covet what it looks like that they have. But I have met some of the most miserable people that have so much money. As I gained more experience in business and I hit certain benchmarks, I remember the first really big goal that I hit. And to be honest with you, ironically, I don't even remember what the goal was that I reached, but it was a substantial goal. And I remember like reaching it and then realizing how anticlimactic actually reaching the goal is. And then you realize that the beauty is 110% in the journey of who you become along the way, who you meet and connect with, the relationships that you hold close. And it becomes a real realization that at the end of the day, money is the most shallow why. It also doesn't get you through the hard times and the downs. It is so anticlimactic. And and I think that until you have been in those moments, you don't realize that it is just absolutely not something that sustains happiness. And so I think the question then becomes as our definitions of success evolve as we become more successful, how do you determine what that is? And I think this has been one of the fun things when I've hosted Unraveling Success is being able to talk to people about how they got to their definition. I will share my definition of success, but it's also tied to my personally held core values. And this has really I've done some core value work a long time ago, but I really realized that how closely related or aligned your core values end up being to your definition of success. And then I'll share a little bit of a curveball that I had in the past year as far as how my definition, something that I learned. So, my definition, my core values have always been freedom, growth, authenticity, impact, and faith. I would say definition of success for sure is I want to have the freedom to, um, I guess I don't remember who this was, but they said I want to do what I want to do with who I want to do it with. But basically, just doing business with the people that you want to be connecting with in a way that's most authentic to you. And impact, like I want to help other people. I want to lift other people up. I want other people to be better when they leave connecting with me than when they first met me, or when I leave a room, I want to leave it better than when I entered it. I'm obsessive about my growth personally and professionally and in every way. Like, I just really want to be chasing that next best version of me. And I want to be around people that want that as well. I don't want to be around stagnant people, and I don't want to be around Eeyores. I want to be around people that see opportunity and possibility and embrace life because we only live one time. But in the past year, on one of my podcasts, we were talking about the definition of success, and this particular guest had had some really significant health struggles. And she had overcome them, and it became actually part of her business as she healed. And she said that one of a definition of success for her was health. She was talking about how, you can afford all these things, but if you don't have your health that you can rely on so you can actually enjoy all these things, what does it count? You know? And that really resonated with me. And so it's actually health is something that I added to my definition of success. So freedom, growth, authenticity, impact, faith, health. And I will add one more in there that I definitely would say, as though the older I've gotten, the more that I realize that so much of our quality of life is tied to the people and the relationships that we hold close. You know what? I am blessed that I have amazing family, not just my immediate family, but extended family that I just truly enjoy spending time with. And also really close friendships that I just totally love being involved in my friends' lives and hearing what they're doing and making memories together with them. And and that just brings such a richness of life. And so I would say that the further into business and, success, the less it is benchmarked by um, dollar signs, and the more you realize it's actually really tied more to your personally held core values, and also um, to your health and to the quality of relationships that are around you. So, um, I guess I would leave you with this. Like, maybe take an inventory of what is your definition of success. Number one, what are your core values? And how does that reflect to where you are right now? And maybe it's something that is really exciting to see that you're really aligned with that. Or maybe it's a little bit of a wake up call. I've had times in my life where I can say that I've living fully aligned with both my core values and my definition of success. And there are other times where knowing what my definition of success is, knowing my core values, so knowing myself authentically, deeply, it can be actually very convicting when you are living in a way that may not align with values or your definition of being successful. I know for me, when I fall off the rails of taking good care of myself, like going to the gym, reading my Bible, not doing the things that I know are most important to me being the best version of myself, like, it's very convicting, and it's a great litmus test. And one of the things that I've learned over time is when you have a clear idea of what your core values are and you have a clear idea of what your definition of success is, you then don't stray too far from those values because you have a conviction that's inside of you that kind of realigns you, it doesn't let you stray too far from center. So I'd encourage you to kind of do that work for yourself and take some time. I actually have OneNote in Office 365, and I have a whole notebook of this type of stuff, and I review it and just to check myself, just to make sure I'm staying true to things and that I'm not saying things out of my mouth that aren't true in reality, because we all know there's plenty of that going around. So, with that, I will leave you, and I would love to hear what your definition of success is. And I would love to hear some of your core values as well.